Pandemic resilience. Parliamentary panel's call for a new health law post COVID-19 is a kernel for reform. So the present parliamentary panel it has called for a new health law for the era of the post COVID-19 or for the period after the COVID-19 pandemic has ended, and obviously that would be very important for reform. Kernel means reform. It means important. The report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Home Affairs calling for a comprehensive public health act as a response to the extreme stress caused by the COVID 19 is a welcome call to form a fragmented health care system. So the decision of the present parliamentary panel to design a new health law mainly because of the stress which was caused by the COVID 19. So the government has decided to make a health law so that if a situation similar to COVID 19 comes again, we could tackle it more effectively. And obviously, that is a welcome law, means everyone would favor it and like it because it would form a more proper health system. When the pandemic arrived, National Health Profile 2019 data showed that there was an estimated 0.55 government hospital beds for 1,000 people. So it's a very disappointing thing to know, but for 1,000 people, there were only 0.55 beds present, and this was according to the National Health Profile, which recorded its data in 2019. The prolonged underinvestment in public health infrastructure thus left millions seeking help from a highly commercialized private sector with little regularity oversight. The situation was even worse in the rural areas, where care facilities are weaker and urban workers fled to their villages, afraid the cost of failing sick in cities, of falling sick in cities. So, the prolonged underinvestment. The government has not invested much in the medical infrastructures like hospitals, like the buildings of hospitals and so on. If it had invested properly, if our government had invested properly in the medical care infrastructures like hospitals, we wouldn't have 0.55 beds for 1,000 people. Instead, we would have many beds. I mean, a proper amount of beds for 1,000 people. And also the COVID-19 situations, they got even worse because of the underinvestment of the government. And 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 I am only talking about the urban areas. When we go to rural areas, the situation gets a lot of worse, because even the basic medical facilities or even the basic facilities are not properly implemented in the rural areas. So, and also the people are going from cities to villages, because they're afraid that if they stay in cities where a large number of where a large group of people stay, when compared to the villages, the people fear that if they stayed in the cities, they would contact the virus more quickly. So everyone ran away to rural areas, where the investment in the healthcare systems, or in the healthcare infrastructures was very less. And so because of that, as a result of that, the death toll also raised. Acknowledging these distortions and the inadequacy of existing legal frameworks, the panel has called for an omnibus law that will curb profiteering during such crises, and provide robust cashless health insurance. So, the parliamentary panel, as I said, it called for a new health law, and the main use of this health law was that it will now curb all the it will now curb the amount the range of the cost or the prices for which the people stay at hospitals. For example, in private sectors, in which many people in our country stayed because of the under investment of the government buildings. So many people have stayed in the private sectors, and the prices in the private sectors, they were overpriced. So because of that, now our present parliamentary panel has called a new health law, which curbs them, which restricts them or limits them. and this is an omnibus law. Means this is actually one law, but it contains many protocols or many rules. Its indictment of the feverish commerce surrounding healthcare provision, however, can serve a larger purpose if it covers overall system reform, addressing the structural asymmetry created by the misguided policies. So it's a good thing, and everyone would obviously welcome it. But what the author is saying is that they should also include some more protocols in this new in this new omnibus law, like even the improvement of the infrastructures. India has committed itself to covenants such as Sustainable Development Goals, but continues to avoid making the right to health a full legal and justiciable right under the national health policy. Among the committee's observations among the committee's observations is the absence of insurance cover for many and oversight on hospitals to ensure that patients are not turned away in a crisis such as COVID-19. So another problem is that many people don't have health insurance, and because of that, when they get affected by COVID-19, they get even more depressed as a normal person, because they have no health insurance, and they're very afraid that they cannot afford their stay at the hospital. So the committee or the parliamentary committee has observed that, and it has been also working on that. While the panel is right to view this as a breach of trust, one of the pandemic's impacts has been a staggering rise in premiums, especially for senior citizens, of even up to 25% of the insured value. Um, so one of the things that has raised is that the premium for especially for the old age people or the senior citizens, and it has raised it by 25%. What is more, the insurance regulator IRDAI set 65 as the maximum age of entry for a standard policy earlier this year, affecting older uninsured citizens. Such age limits must be fully removed. These kinds of age limits, which classify the people into who are eligible for receiving the policy, and to whom those people are not eligible for the policy. All of these age limits should be taken off. The answer to creating an equitable net framework lies in tax-funded system, with the government being the single and sole prayer to care the providers. So in these cases, all the people should solely depend on the government. They should only they should totally depend on the government, which helps them with taxes, and which also gives them the insurance that they need. The government as a single payer, if not sole care provider at present, would be better able to resist commercial pressures in determining costs, because obviously than private sectors, the government of India is way better at managing high stress situations. So even if the government determines to make its infrastructures a bit better, then people would obviously go there, and they would also get their health insurance by the government. This is equally applicable for the central for the central procurement of essential drugs, which can then be distributed free. So even if the people want some drugs or medicines, they could ask the center, and then the center could give it to the states, and then the states could give it to the people who need it. Legal reform must provide for a time-bound transition to universal state-provided health sections under a rights-based, non-exclusionary framework with states implementing it. So we need such a law or such a new system in India that should be a rights-based, non-exclusionary framework. Means everyone should be given the same rules and the same respect. No one will be a special one. and also rights based, and also everyone, including the government, has their own rights. So we need we need such a law or such system in India to tackle the situations like COVID-19 a bit better. Private arrangements can be an option. Um, COVID 19 has exposed the dangers of excessive reliance on on private territory care. So, COVID 19 has exposed many things. Mainly, they have exposed two things. One is the weak medical infrastructure of the government buildings, and the second is the lack of trust that we can put into the private sectors or private buildings. The corrective lies in the raising public spending to the promised 2.5% of GDP on public facilities that are universally accessible. So people, instead of going to the private sectors, they should go to the government buildings, and because of that, our GDP will rise by 2.5%, which the government will use again to help us, by providing us by providing us with various various health insurances and whatnot. But for that again, the government need to it needs to renovate, or it needs to develop, or it needs to invest in its medical infrastructures, which are very weak right now. Thank you.